Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Jacqueline and this is my special guest, my mother Rebecca, for today's video. We just filmed part 1 of this video. This is going to be part 2. Of course, you can watch this one first or the other one, but I think I do suggest you watch the other one first. I have 2 learning disabilities, dyslexia and dyscalculia, which is a funky word, but basically it just means it's a math learning disability. And those 2 are really hard for learning to drive, so this is why we have sat down today to talk about learning to drive with learning disabilities. This mainly is a video for parents. If you are a student watching this and you are also trying to learn to drive, absolutely stick around. There's probably some helpful information for you as well. If you see our eyeballs looking this way, there is a computer set up, so that's why you might just see that. But to start off this video, I'm going to be talking about how difficult it is to have a mental map in my brain of the area where I live in. And of course, I've taken the school bus, for the past, 11 years or something of my life, maybe even longer. But, and I've done routes around my hometown, but still I can forget quite easily where things are located and how to get there. So the general gist is I know where a lot of places are in my hometown. I cannot tell you directionally how to get there, so that's why driving was pretty hard for me and still is hard for me. We're now going to discuss a couple concepts and then dive into why those concepts matter when you try to learn to drive. The first one is spatial awareness. That is your own body's position or your car's position in relation to other objects around you, meaning other cars around you on the road.
I would like to talk about the first concept, which I knew was a problem, which was mirroring. Mm-hmm. So this gets into a problem when you're trying to give your child directions about an oncoming car. So I'm just going to do this with Jacqueline right now.
Yes.
So Jacqueline, I'm going to hold up my right hand. Mm-hmm. I want you to mirror and match my position.
Okay. This right here is me mirroring you, but this is my left hand, not my right hand.
Okay. So, for example, if I say, Jacqueline, I'm in the driver's seat, or mm-hmm. Jacqueline's in the driver's seat, and I'm saying, Jacqueline, I want you to take a left-hand turn, but you have to watch the car taking a right-hand turn. Like, she may not get that. Mm-hmm. This is in the moment she's not getting that. So what I started saying to her is, you're going to take a left-hand turn. You have to watch the car going in the same direction as you. Mm-hmm. So that, and then I would say that car's taking a right. So she's learning that. Mm-hmm. But to start with, she didn't get that at all. So
I still really don't get it that much.
And that is a skill that children usually learn in elementary school. So
which is crazy to me.
So just know that your learning disability is going to impact your child or their learning disability is going to impact how you give them directions.
I want you to hear me loud and clear when I say when you're beginning to drive, park far away from cars. Please. It will do you a world of difference if you just stay in the way back and walk to your destination. It's true. No, but if you do, obviously, in the real world, you're going to have to probably park next to cars. It's just going to happen. So what my real advice is start, not with a bunch of cars around you, and then work your way up with your parent to be able to park next to other cars.
So again, parking away from people, you want to work on parking between parallel lines, okay? Mm-hmm. And we did a lot of practice on that, and we had to figure out a point on the car at which she had to pass the first parking line, and then turn. So in our car, it ended up being
a side view mirror.
A side view mirror, which may not be the way your vehicle is set up. Mm-hmm. But if we went, you're going to pass the line with the side view mirror, now turn. That worked for her. Mm-hmm. So, and then it's easier to progress from that is to park past a car. Mm-hmm. So if you're on the right and you are approaching a car on the right, you're going to pass them, turn right when your rear view mirror passes that end of the car.
Side view mirror, not rear view mirror.
Sorry, side view mirror. Mm-hmm. Going kind of slow. And if you get to the car, so in this case it will be the line, and you get to if your mirror just passes the line, you should be able to pull in kind of tight, but it has to be a little faster than, inching.
Yeah.
Blinker?
Need to come in.
Blinker.
I'm going.
Okay.
Look, I'm straight.
Same thing on the left. You're going to pass the car on the left, pass your side view mirror, and turn left.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the easiest ways to park. What is hard to park, and I'm going to be honestly with you, it's still hard to park for me, is when you have to anticipate when to turn, parking before a car or in front of a car. Really, the same rules apply. It's when you pass with your side view mirror. But it's very scary when you have a car next to you.
Yeah. The other thing I want to add on is you guys sometimes told me to jog out. Can you explain that a little bit better?
When you are on the right side and you want to park on the right, it's easier if you pass, do a little bit of a jog out to come in forward.
Yeah, you kind of take like a wider turn, like out a little bit and then around to park.
Yeah.
I hope that makes sense.
I'm going to add something here that we didn't even have on our list, is that parking lot rules are the same as road rules, right?
Oops, so I was bad with that.
Yeah, so, just because there's a space doesn't mean you can fill it. You still, you treat it like a road. You stay to the right when you're going down a lane, and maybe you're coming to the end and you have to go onto the main thoroughfare of the big parking lot. You have to treat that like a stop sign. So that was sort of out of her scope when we first started.
I had no idea.
So, yeah.
But now I do.
Yeah.
Yay. I think there's a general consensus that a lot of people don't like parallel parking.
I don't.
Yeah, it's so hard for someone with a learning disability to learn how to parallel park for multiple reasons. But there's so many directions and sometimes there's numbers involved. Like, what do you mean turn your car 45 degrees? I was like so confused. So we had to reword it and workshop it a little bit. There ended up being a triangle method, which let me tell you on YouTube, if you search up, quote, how to do easy parallel parking, end quote, by Revolution Driving School, there will give you a step-by-step tutorial of the triangle method, which please just do that. It's really well said. I can try to insert a video as well of myself doing parallel parking. Okay, I'm at my third panel. I'm gonna go towards my father. 45, so go here. Unwind my steering wheel and go straight back. Look in for the little triangle in your rearview mirror. Oh, wrong thing. Whatever. Okay. Oh, okay. I may have done that too soon.
No?
Here we are. Nope. Right there. Going forward. Here we are. Parked.
Back up till we see a tail light by the front door of the car, which at the same time you see a triangle right there. You see the curb, the car, and the mirror. That's a triangle, like a pizza slice. And we turn the wheel back to straight. Then we start backing up straight. And when you look at the triangle, it's getting smaller. You will see that it's getting smaller. We're going to make it very small, but we are not going to lose it. And then when it's smaller, you stop, you turn the wheel all the way left. And you back up till the car becomes parallel. And you can look at the mirror, see the car.
It's just so confusing for no reason, let me tell you. And the step-by-step directions, very easy to mix up what goes first, what goes last.
Yeah, and I think some of the terms we use instead of 45 degrees is that we would turn towards the passenger side, then unwind, turn the other way,
unwind your steering wheel.
Yeah,
because sometimes the steering also got me thrown for a loop. So what is the proper term instead of unwind?
I don't know.
And yeah, we just are so used to it at this point.
Jacqueline, you want to talk about curbs?
I would love to talk about curbs. I hit a lot of curbs in my day. Back when I was starting to drive.
And let's face it, you still do.
I still do. Okay, she got me there. Look, I love, love, love curbs that are painted bright yellow, any bright color. Thank you, because now I'm paying attention to that. But do you know there are so many curbs that are just the same color as a pavement? How am I supposed to know there's a curb there? So what I would do to find out there was a curb there was hit it.
Or roll over it.
Yeah, so I don't really suggest that, but I think just your person in the car with you and yourself are just gonna have to pay a lot of attention, and at some point you'll figure out there's a curb there.
Yeah, this is like when you're turning out of a parking lot and there's a curb. You have to figure out the spacing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should
Which,
talk about.
this all, basically what we need to tell you is this ties into spatial awareness difficulties, just so you're aware of that. Have you heard of the 5-second rule? If not, let me tell you, because it's quite simple, but as you see on the road, there is big gaps between cars. You know, you don't want to get too close and crash into them accidentally. So there's a 5-second rule, which your car and the other car should generally be 5 seconds apart from each other. And how to find that out is, let's say there's like a random yellow ball on the side of the road. The first car passes this yellow ball, and then you can think in your brain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Not quite that fast.
Yeah, slower. Then your car should pass that yellow ball 5 seconds apart, and then you'll be golden, and keep that distance.
So I'm going to talk about backing up. Oh my goodness gracious.
So bad.
2-point turns. So 2-point turns, all right, you're going in one direction, you pull into a driveway, you turn around. That was so hard for Jacqueline. It still is.
Very hard.
So this is how we started. I would say, Jacqueline, I want you to pull into that driveway. So she would pull into the driveway, and she would literally have to say, I was going this direction. Now I need to go this direction. So how are we going to get there? And we would say, the front end of your car has to go this way. So which way is the back end of your car? And then she'd figure out the back end of my car has to go that way. So then she'd turn around and she'd turn her car to the correct way. But she would literally forget which direction she had started and which direction she was going.
Absolutely.
And when you're doing 2-point turns, you also need to know if you're crossing traffic or not. So you have to you just have to go over that and go over that and go over that. That if you're if you're turning in one direction, you're on the same side of the road. If you're turning the other direction, you cross traffic. So please know that that's a really hard concept to understand when you have a learning disability.
Yeah. Who knew that 2-point turns would be the bane of my existence? But they are.
Here's our road. Here's our tape on the road. So this is the right side of the road, left side of the road. This is our driveway. Okay, so I want you to pull into the driveway and do a 2-point turn. So I want you to orient your body.
This is my driveway?
That's your driveway.
So I need to pull in.
Pull in. Now you're going to back out and go which way? Turn around.
Cross over here.
Cross over, turn your body, go. Good. Okay. Now how are you going to steer the hip?
Hold on, I need a blinker.
Okay. Which blank?
Left.
Okay, you're showing me your right hand. If you're correct, you want to use your left blinker. So show me your left hand, okay? You already showed me you're going to back out and turn, but show me with your hands. I want to see what your driving hands are going to do. And you just turned yourself that way. Okay? That's what back up and turn here.
And turn.
No, you just did your hands the exact same way. Okay.
Blinker to the left.
Yep.
Up both ways. And back up. And then I'm going to turn
Wrong.
this way.
And then you would have just turned this way. I think this is true for any new driver, but also this is really a big deal for people with learning disabilities. I think they get hyper-focused on one thing. And when students are learning to drive, they are focused on going forward, which they should be, and and staying in the line and keeping the speed. But what they're not doing is scanning. So we'd start by, well, you just passed a speed limit sign. What was a speed limit sign? I have no idea. So we knew she wasn't looking at signs. So we're always like, okay, scan, it's time to scan. You're coming up to a crosswalk. What do you need to do? I need to scan. Or you're coming up to a crosswalk. I really want you to slow down a little bit, just a little bit, so you know you're looking. So scanning giving them cues to scan, really, really important.
And I like to piggyback off of that, also looking in your side view mirrors, your rear view mirrors. You're just, obviously you're looking forward a whole lot, but you also have to look in all the other different mirrors in your car, just so you're aware of your surroundings, of course. This is another thing that was quite difficult for me to do, but the concept of speed. There's a lot of roads, of course, and some of these roads we would call a slow road or a fast road. So my mom would quiz me, or my dad would quiz me, do we need to go out into this road at a fast pace or a slower pace? Speed. And after a while, I could figure out which roads around my hometown were fast or slow. But it's very hard going out into the road if you have cars zooming past you. Knowing their distance in relation to what my distance will eventually be on the road, if that makes sense. Just the anticipation, I guess, and the timing of when you can go out into the road, even if cars are by you, and not cutting them off, having enough distance between the car that passed you and you.
So now we're going to talk about problem solving, which is so difficult for people with learning disabilities.
Yes.
So you probably know your child, if they're at driving age, probably had a hard time with problem solving when they were doing math problems. I also knew, which also helped cue me in, that there might be a learning disability when Jacqueline was playing sports. So
yeah, you could definitely tell.
It was the thinking ahead that she wasn't getting. So just because you can play softball and you can hit a ball, it doesn't mean you know when to run, where to run, what if it's going to be caught, what if it's going to be thrown somewhere else. There's multiple different scenarios that could happen in one play. And so that was very challenging for her. And
I was just like hyper focused on what was currently going on, not all the things that could go on.
And that is huge with driving. Anticipating being an offensive driver is hard. And I think when we did a lot of driving around our house, we would often cue her. A lot of cars pull out of here and don't look. So at this intersection, I really want you to pay attention to this. So she had to kind of memorize a lot of potential problems. But again, she's only driving in our community. Even now as a licensed driver, I wouldn't want her driving in a city. I wouldn't want her driving even an hour away from our house because she doesn't know the routes.
I have to tell you, growing up, I think we were all learned that green means go. Not all the time. Sometimes you have to be patient and not go right away. This happens when you're taking a left-hand turn and it's a solid green light versus a green arrow. Of course, if you have an arrow telling you to go, you can go safely. But this is something I was mind blown by. What do you mean green doesn't always mean go straight away? So I'm telling you here first that if you have a green solid light and you're trying to take a left-hand turn, usually if someone else is on the opposite side of the lane going straight, they have the right of way, not you. If the other person is going, this is where mirroring gets challenging for me, they go right and you go left, you can safely go because you're going opposite directions. Uh-oh, she's laughing because that's wrong. Okay, don't listen to me.
So obviously what that means is if she sees a car coming towards her and they're taking a right, they have the right of way. And then you can proceed taking a left after they have passed. See, this is mirroring, but this is also problem solving. This is anticipating. So this is why driving is really hard.
But if you both go left, you can safely do that, right? Is there ever
right. If you're taking left and an oncoming car is also taking a left, you can proceed at the same time.
The other color I was going to mention is yellow. Now, if you have a blinking yellow light, that means that you can go by. You just have to be extra aware of what's happening around you.
Go through.
Oh yeah. If the light is a solid yellow, that just means that a red light is about to occur. So you can go through it, but it's suggested that you go, you slow down because the red light is about to happen.
But in real life, a lot of people think the yellow light means gun it so you can get to the intersection before it turns red.
Yeah.
So Colors are hard because they have multiple meanings.
Which, like, whoever invented that, come up with a different color for Pete's sakes. It's not that hard.
We talked about how we just kept going and kept going and kept doing the same thing. We also knew where the bureau or driver, here it's the BMV, the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. It's sometimes called something else. We're lucky that it's close to our house. And obviously the test is going to be within 10 minutes of that place. So we practiced and practiced multiple scenarios of routes that she could take. Also, the driver's education company pretty much knew what the driver's test was going to be. When she was first starting to drive and she was in the driver's seat with an instructor, they took her on what was potentially going to be the test. I knew it. I also knew it because I had two other children drivers that learned before. A lot of driver's education centers, instructors, will give you the option. You can pay extra for them to pick you up an hour before your test. They will drive you through the testing scenarios, and then you can go take your test and feel good about it.
So about a year ago, I took my driver's test, but there are some key elements that I did to make sure it went smoothly. And I said to my driver's test instructor that I had learning disabilities, but I made sure to mention right after that I have a normal IQ. I think some people just automatically assume that you have no idea what you're doing when that's not the case. I did ask if they could potentially repeat instructions multiple times, once a little bit further away from the task they wanted me to complete. Maybe it was turning right, and once right before I was to have to do that task. Like, I think I also asked them to do hand signals to the left and to the right.
I did before she took the test. I actually went into the Bureau of Motor Vehicles and spoke with one of the instructors, and I did ask, can you give accommodations to someone with learning disabilities? And we discussed what they could do. So because I knew she was going to be nervous, we just put a little script on an index card, and she just read it right to the instructor.
I would assume that you can really go into any place and there should be accommodations available. I don't think it's just going to be my location. Well, firstly, I want to thank my mom for coming on because she's done 2 videos today. If you haven't seen the first one, again, I hope you do check it out. I have a couple other YouTube videos on my page about driving, so please go take a little peek if you have not done so already. I do have a website called mindslikeMine.com, and on there, as well as my TikTok, which I'll paste below, I did a little Jacqueline's Driving Diary series, which is just dash cam footage, and it's how we learn to drive. A lot of instructions from her and me completing the task. Just because at the very start I knew that driving with learning disabilities would be hard, and I knew there wasn't a lot of information on the internet, so I hope that this will be helpful for you if you do check those videos out. Driving is really hard, and it's not the end of the world if it takes you a little bit longer than your peers, and just know that you can do it, and please take as much time as you need.
We did not cover everything. There are so many different scenarios you can have with driving. Absolutely. But if you have questions or things that you think you would like to have covered, I'm sure Jacqueline would love to read your comments, and those could be covered at a later date.